Hey everybody, it's Shypanther of the Shypanther and Friends show, and I just wanted to drop in to say thank you for supporting the channel, and please continue to do so. And drop me a line, let me know how you, or just make a comment on the video. Let me know how you enjoyed the interviews. It would mean a lot to me, and plus the artists would definitely love to hear about folks checking everything out and what you have to say about their interviews. And I just want you to know that it is my true passion to be doing what I'm doing. And I'm truly dedicated to preserving the legacy of the blues because it does come from our community, from our culture. And it is also a great honor to share our legends, our music legends stories. And they love what they're doing as well. So I'm pretty sure if you check out the videos, you'll definitely hear that. And that's it. That's all I want to say for today. And I'll see you soon. Again, thank you, and hit subscribe and share as much as you can. Talk to you. Bye-bye. Okay, everybody, welcome to the Shypanther and Friends show. I am your host, Shypanther, also known as Gale. The Shypanther and Friends show is recorded from Q4 Radio in Chicago, and online that's q4radio.org. Our goal this season is to celebrate music and culture, and we're going to do that by raising awareness for the cultural heritage of the art form called the blues. Now today we have a special guest, and he is none other than legendary drummer Merle The Percolator Perkins. Welcome to the show, Merle.
Well, thanks for having me here, Gale. It's a very pleasure having me to do this radio interview.
Well, I'm super happy, super excited that we finally got it all, scheduled, and you are here. Everybody, let me tell you, Merle is a legendary drummer. People love him. He's been all over the world, and I'm going to let him tell us all about who he is. But my question to you is, what makes a world-class drummer? How did you become Merle The Percolator Perkins?
Well, if I hadn't have been, when I was about 16 years old, I played in drum corps. And from there, I went to a senior corps in St. Louis, Missouri, to a very popular senior drum corps called the Spirit of St. Louis. Mm. And I was born in Kansas City, but then I moved to St. Louis, Missouri, and that's where my kind of drumming comes from, drum corps, and drum corps teach you how to read music and stuff, and we competed against either other drum corps all over the states. And then my mother happened to meet a boyfriend, and he got a job in St. Louis, Missouri. That's what made me move to St. Louis, Missouri. So then when I was in drum corps, then I moved to Chicago. A friend of mine influenced me to move to Chicago in 1964.
Okay.
So when I came in 64, I never thought about playing a drum set until I met this singer. His name was Joe Cato, and he also wrote a song for Garland Green, which is a very popular singer.
Okay.
Called Plain and Simple Girl.
Okay. Now I want to ask you, you said you never thought about being a drummer. So it all started with drum corps.
Yeah.
And so drum corps played a huge role in your life. So how did the drums come? So you came into drum corps, but how did you finally, did you get your first drum set or drum kit? How did all of that work into this?
Okay, what it was is my friend, he was a singer. His name was Joe Cato, and
okay.
And I used to go and watch him perform. It was on 47th State, a place called the Owl's Lounge. And I used to be behind stage, and I used to just beat it in the chair. And he came and up to me, he said, "Man, you got some really good hands." Mm-hmm. He said, "Won't you try to learn how to play a drum set?"
And about how old were you then?
Oh man, I had to be maybe, I think maybe it was in my 30s.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
I think I was in my
okay.
30s. Uh,
Okay. So before all that time, it was just drum corps really set you up. They
I kind of owe it all to drum corps. If it hadn't been a drum corps, I would have never been a drum. I might have been a garbage man.
Oh. So okay, so I'm thinking I don't know. I was thinking like you started before that, but you said when you were 30. So you met the musician, and then he saw you, strumming the chair, and he suggested that you okay.
Yeah. So by then, I always worked jobs. So I worked for Hertz Rent a Car,
Mhm.
and I went to this pawn shop. I had a jar of coins. I went to the pawn shop on uh, 44 inch Prairie. That's where I was staying.
Okay.
And I bought a cheap drum set. And me and my mother, we stayed in a basement apartment. So the first song that I practiced on when I bought the drum set was a song off of 45. That's when I had 45 records. It was called The Horace. And so that's when I started practicing on the drums.
Okay.
And then when my mother, she used to be a singer when I was younger, around 10 years old. Like she sang like jazz, like Sarah Vaughan and Nancy Wilson.
Mm.
So that's maybe with a little music background I got from
Okay,
my
yeah.
mom.
Your mom was saying,
Yeah.
okay.
So what happened when I started practicing on the drums, I got a knock on the door,
Mm-hmm.
and it was the police. So
Making
the
too much
police,
noise in there.
Yeah, the police said somebody in the building doesn't like drums. They say you gonna have to quit the drums. So I quit playing the drums for a while,
Mm.
and then when I went to bought that drum set, I met a drummer named Leonard Mayfield that was coming out. So I said, man, I'm gonna start practicing back on drums again.
Mm-hmm.
And they came back again, knocked on the door. But then they told me, he said, by law, you can practice on an instrument from 10 in the morning to 10 at night.
Wow. All day. Beat
You
those
can practice
drums.
them. When you get 10 o'clock, you had to quit practicing. So
Oh.
that's where I just kept practicing. And then the drummer that I met coming out of the pawn shop, his name was Leonard Mayfield. So I went to see him perform, and he just blew me away the way he played. He played with a band called Joe Ferguson and the Barbertones.
Mm-hmm.
And they're a very popular band. So when I seen him play, he just became my idol drummer. And so I followed him everywhere he performed. And then he the one that took me to the blues clubs. And so I started meeting different blues musicians
Okay.
and stuff like that. And then I started going to see like Lonnie Brooks before he even got popular on the West Side. And we watched different drummers play in different groups. That had a group called, very popular in Chicago, called the Scott Brothers, which played at Bonanza.
Mm-hmm.
So I was going out to the clubs and watching other drummers, musicians perform. And so one day I went to, Buddy Guys had Checkerboard, which is on 43rd Street.
Okay.
And Peppers was on the corner. So I went over there and sat in on the drums, trying to play the blues, and I was playing the wrong beat. So they stopped the music while I was on stage and came and took me off the drum. So it hurt my feelings. And see, well, the thing about it, they didn't know I could read music.
Okay.
So
yeah, because you learned that in drum corps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You had to learn. They write that music out.
Mm-hmm.
And so I said, man, I'm gonna fix it for taking me out. Maybe anger hurt my feelings.
Right.
And then the group, the Scott Brothers, had their dad. His name was Scotty. He had a group called Scotty and the Rip Tips. he took me under his wings, and he stayed across the street from the checkerboard, and he showed me how to play a shuffle. So, and those guys were a very popular band, so they still have a recording, a little small and I've been trying to get that small recording from them, but never gave it to me.
All right, so they taught you that style. You said the shuffle?
Yeah, Scotty.
Okay.
He taught me, took me on the way and showed me how to play a shuffle. After learning how to play a shuffle, since I could read music, so what I did, I went to Frank's drum shop, and when I seen Billy Cobham on TV playing with John McLaughlin, and I had never seen an Afro-American play double bass drums, and he had like 1,000 drums, and he sounded like a machine. And I said, man, who's this cat here? And I kind of found out his name was Billy Cobham.
Okay.
He was just still my idol drummer today, and I got pictures with him.
Wow.
So what I did, I went in and I bought some mismatched drums. I bought 2 double bass drums.
All right.
I think I had 4 toms and 2 floor toms. And back then I had mismatched drums, and they had wallpaper that you put on a wall that looked like wood. I took all of the parts off the drums, and I put all the wood on around the drums and make them look like, and then they had some stuff called Facto Blare. I sprayed them all, and you wait 24 hours, they look shiny.
Nice.
Put all the hardware together. So I kind of went in the woodshed and started practicing. Went to school at Frank's drum shop. He wrote the music out, and I just started practicing.
Okay.
The double bass drum. So I was the first blues drummer to play double bass drums on the blues set.
Right.
I was the only one to do that.
Well, people, if you haven't heard him play double bass drums, you have got to hear it. I'm going to play a sample for you. I'm going to include it in the video. But you got to hear it. It's like nothing you've ever heard. And I think I've heard one other person do that. My brother, as a matter of fact, I'm dedicating this show to Matthew Hall. He passed away a few years ago, and he was a really cool drummer. And he talked about double bass. Man, that you have got to hear. For if you're the type of person who loves to hear percussion instruments and you want to hear the best, one of the best, here he is sitting right here next to me, Merle Perkins. All right, so you're the first African American to play blues drummer
on a blues set that played double bass.
All right.
You know, and I played them with Buddy Guy and Junior Wells.
Okay.
And actually, my first professional gig was with a guy named Joe Ferguson and the Vibratones, and he was a bass player. And we went to Grand Rapids, Michigan, and we had there was our head there, so we had to go and play the show. And what happened is that when we got through playing the show, and we went out to the band, somebody broke in there and took everything out of the band. So we had to have 4 nights there, and we had to play in the same clothes for the four nights.
Oh my goodness. Well, since you're talking about clothes, we're gonna jump back and forth a little bit around here. Check you out. You are one sharp looking man, and I see like a lot of your press, a lot of your interviews, your photos, and you are always super sharp. What's the deal with that? What?
Well, I always when I was young and I stayed in St. Louis. When I went to school, you know, in St. Louis, it wasn't like the kids here, where they wear their pants below the belt line. We dressed it up like in Stacey Adams, Bannisters, foot jars, and suit pants with creases in it and bandline shirts. So we dressed sharp in school. So that's where I got my style of being dressed up all the time. It's from St. Louis.
Okay.
And when I played in bands like Lonnie Brooks, everybody was wearing jeans and T-shirts, and I was the only one that had suits on.
Now, around when was this?
I played with Lonnie Brooks in '81 and
Okay.
'82.
Yeah, they started wearing jeans. Yeah, they did.
Yeah, they wore jeans. Sometimes they would wear a sport coat with jeans and gym shoes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's what made me started into wearing T-shirts and jeans and stuff, because everybody else was, I don't know, no one dressed up. So, and I found out it was pretty comfortable.
Yeah.
Instead of being sharp all the time.
Right. Yeah, I was wondering because I know a lot of performers are still a lot of bluesmen, musicians all across the board. Some of them dress pretty sharp, and some, dress just like you said, jeans and T-shirts. Yeah. So.
And back in the day, in the '70s, see, like the Shy-Lights and all that stuff, they always dressed up in suits.
Yeah, and showmanship.
Earth, Wind and Fire and all those groups was sharp.
Yeah.
Back in the day. Mm-hmm. But I guess it's a little bit different with the rap singers, because they don't.
Well, some do. Some dress. I guess it's according to their style.
Yeah.
But yeah, some of them do. So we're going to jump back in. So your career, it just started to peek open. The door started to open for you.
Yeah. Well, actually, in the music business, it's just like a baby. You got to crawl before you walk.
Okay.
So, I play with, I never leave out the people. I play with little people, too, in the blues, before I even got to play with bigger people. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But and I always mention their names, like and mostly everybody that I had played and recorded with, they all have passed away. The only one that's still living today is Buddy Guy.
Wow.
All the rest of them, all the CDs that I'm on, like 31 CDs, everybody has passed away.
And I think too, that's why it's so important, along with catching you guys while you're here, giving you your flowers while you're here, and bringing you on and letting you have your say. That's why it's so important that we capture what we need to capture now and preserve our legendary cultural music, the blues. It's our music. We need to keep it alive, and we need to pass it on. We need to pass it on to a lot of young musicians coming into the business. So it's super important that we do things just like this, to have you in and have you interview so that people can see you up close and personal. We've admired your work for years and years and years. And what better way to get to sit down with you than to have you come in and talk about your career and your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So actually, me being blues, that's my life. That's why I'm a real blues man on one of my awards. But still, I went from blues to playing another style, from blues to disco music.
Did you?
Yeah. And then in disco music, you had to be dressed up sharp for that.
Okay.
I played with a very famous group, disco group out of Chicago called Riff Raff. And I played with them in '78 and '79. And so they're a very popular group in Chicago. We played all the clubs in the suburbs and stuff. So I have audios of that. No videos of that, but I have audio.
So you said you're a real blues man. Do you have a preference over the genre? I know it's the blues, but how did you enjoy having to? Is there a particular reason that you did the disco, or just that was what they needed? It was a band. I mean, it was a gig, and they needed a drummer. So
yeah, what happened was once when I went out with Joe Ferguson, didn't really play blues. It was R&B band. So when I came back to Chicago, I was Checkerboard had a jam session. So I was sitting in on the drums, and Buddy was looking around the corner at me, and he asked me, "Are you playing with anybody?" And I said, "No." And he said, "Well, you want to play with me?" So I said, "Yeah." And that's when him and Junior Wells was a team together.
Yeah.
So I have Kenny Neal was playing bass. Now he's a famous guitar player.
Mm-hmm.
And I seen his Living Blues magazine. He had a picture. I thought I played with Buddy Guy and Junior Wells for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
But when he had a picture in his magazine, it had 1976 at the checkerboard.
Mm-hmm.
So what I did, I took the picture and cropped it and put it up. And I was with Buddy and Junior for 3 years.
Okay.
And then from then on there, that's when I went to the disco
Okay.
band. And then
in those 70s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then in the 80s, I played with a very popular group, horn group called Big Twist and the Mellowfellows.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And they're actually originally from Carbondale.
Okay.
So, and I played with them. And then, I don't know, just like a step ladder, and I went, the first gig that after playing with Joe Ferguson, some kind of way I got the gig. I don't know how I got the gig with Freddie King.
Okay.
After playing with Joe Ferguson and baritone.
Mm-hmm.
So the drummer was sick.
Okay.
And so I got the gig, a 4-day tour with Freddie King, and we toured in Ohio in big theaters. And we was opening the show for Leon Russell.
Wow, you are naming some ton of people, and you only touching the beginning of your story.
Yeah, and I played Leon Russell, and
Okay.
Leon Russell, he had a wife called Brenda Russell that was made a popular song.
Yes.
Yeah, he was married to her.
Yeah, I know.
So when I seen at the Studio Winery downtown, they had a free ticket to go in and see Leon Russell. But I think he was a little sick. He was on a cane. He went to the bus, and they wouldn't let anybody. And I asked him, did he have a recording of that when I was playing with them and opened the show? But he told me he did have it, but VHS. That's when they had VHS.
Oh,
but
yeah.
he said somebody stole it.
Okay.
So, but then Benny Turner, which you already know him, he's a popular bass player and a singer that had CDs out. That was his brother. So Benny Turner was playing bass then, and then Deacon Jones was the keyboard player, which he passed away. So I was trying to contact, and then when I seen Benny Turner at the Blues Fest, he didn't even remember me because it was like in 1971.
Wow.
So I said, did you have any pictures or recordings of with Freddie King? He said, no, I don't have any. No.
Well, do you have a favorite, favorite artist or legend that you've played with?
Well, the Freddie King I love to play because Freddie King was a guitar player way ahead of his time.
Okay.
And a lot of guitar players was very influenced by him.
Okay.
Because of his style of playing. And I, playing with Lonnie Brooks, 81 and 82, he's a great singer. And then his little sons used to come and watch us practice, which is Wayne Baker Brooks and Ronnie Baker Brooks. Now those guys, when Lonnie Brooks passed away, those young kids became out to be phenomenal guitar players and got CDs and awards.
Okay.
Great singers, and I've seen them when they were from a kid.
From children, yeah. See, that's what I'm talking about, passing it on. And that's what we want to do. We want to keep our people playing the authentic blues the way how it should be played. Now, do you have you do have Hall of Fame status? I know you got like a couple of awards.
I've been inducted in the Chicago Blues Hall of Fame twice.
Okay.
also I've been inducted into his 2002 Edmonton award. It's called the Real Blues Man.
Okay.
That was the other award I got. That's the first award I got in Edmonton, Canada. And
really? Okay.
And then then the other awards I got where you show holding in my hand, those were well, it was Freddie Dixon, and when they had Gemma Tillman, which was married to Dr. Tillman, she was the alderman. I've always been his mentor, and they the one that suggested they was gonna give me 2 awards. And so at the Harold Washington Cultural Center, I was there, and I got presented those 2 awards.
Oh, that's where. Okay.
Yeah.
That's when that happened. Okay.
Bobby Dixon and John Primer, all the blues cats were there for that. You know, and then the other award that I got, it came the building man. They said, you got a package here.
Well, you mean like that? Was it a huge?
With the big picture on there?
Yeah. Okay.
So like.
And I'll show that everybody. I'll make sure I include it in the video.
And how that award came from the Living Blues magazine. And see, I do a lot of promoting myself.
Okay.
So actually, I called on the telephone one time of Living Blues, and they had told me one time that the staff had to vote for you. And
the staff had to vote on the Living Blues organization?
To get in the Living Blues magazine.
Okay.
So then later in the years, I called back and I called a number, and the lady told me, she said, that's not true. She said, she gave me the number, and the guy was named Brent Turner, and I sent all my information to him, and that's how I got in the Living Blues.
And the next thing you know, yeah.
I mean, I do a lot of networking myself to promote myself.
Yeah.
And a lot of things that I have got in my life, like radio interviews and stuff like that.
Right.
Even a song that I wrote was called Funk the Blues. A lady heard that from Connecticut and said it's unusual to see a drummer sing and play. At the same time. So she said, do you mind if I do a radio interview with a magazine? So that's called Soundwaves magazine.
Okay.
So I'm in that. And then I didn't know I was in other magazines because I never went overseas when I had my band. I don't know how they found out about me, but one of the magazines I got now is called Juke magazine. I have a write-up in there about my band.
Yeah, there's so much on you. I went through, I Googled you and I found so much. It's amazing. And there are well-written articles about you. There's tons of information. So that says a lot. Where, it's not just a couple of questions about, answers about you. There's plenty of literature documenting your career. So.
And who influenced me to get my own band, Merle Perkins and the Percolators, and who gave me that name was Chaka Khan's husband, Hassan Khan. He was married to Chaka Khan.
Yeah, I was definitely going to ask you, how did you get, where did the Percolator come from?
That influence, he said, man, your last name is Merle Perkins. He said, why don't you call your band Merle Perkins and the Percolators? So.
And so what year was this?
Huh?
About what year did this happen?
When I put my band together was 1990 to 1997.
Okay.
And I used some different cats, and I do have VHS. I've used a friend of mine, a great guitar player named John Hill. He was in my band. A guy named Larry Ellery and Vince Solano, sax player. And I always played a huge set. I never liked playing a small set because when I did drum solos, and by me playing in drum corps, you play with a lot of drums, the drum line. And so you get different. You can play a song with a drum set if you know the keys. So that's why I call my drum solo drum corps style talking drums.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
You know, so I do have 6 drum solos. 4 of my drum solos are on Drum Talk TV.
Okay.
And you have to be a really bad drummer, a kicking drummer to get on Drum Talk
To get on
TV.
Drum Talk. Okay.
And I'm the first Afro-American drummer to get that interview with Dan Shirlers.
And I did see it. It is on. You can Google it, everybody, and it's a pretty outstanding interview. And it's, well, you know, I'm not a musician, but if you're a drummer, you need to watch that interview. I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know. And I mean, they have another style of drumming. It's called gospel chops.
Okay.
But that's another style of drumming. But it's just one style of playing, and they're phenomenal drummers, you know. But you know, you have to learn how to play. And drum corps today has like 130 minutes in, and the thing about drum corps is precision. 130 people be like one person, and they're being judged by judges how well they play together as one.
Oh, in drum corps.
So if you got 10 snare drums, you got to play like one person. That's how they score you.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah.
So they have judges on the field for the horns, for the flag, and then you have judges up high. The circles and the lines and the straight lines and the formation they do have to be in perfect position. That's how they score.
And that's why you are, so you have such precision.
Precision, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so you had your band, and I remember having a discussion with you saying that you prefer being a side man over managing your own band.
Right, because they're going to find out when you play behind all the artists, you know, they never say nothing about the band that's playing behind them, because I figure if you have a crappy band playing behind your singer, nobody's gonna come and see you. So your band is what makes the artist up front.
I see.
And then a lot of people look at the person that's up front, never look at the drummer in the background. And Tony Williams, that played with Miles Davis, did an article like that about that. You know, he was a famous drummer, jazz drummer.
Yeah.
And I've done the same thing when I was writing articles in Facebook about drummers are the heartbeat of music, and then the bass player is the next to that.
Exactly.
If you got a crappy drummer,
it's gonna mess up the whole.
Ain't nobody gonna come and see you. You know.
Excuse me. It's gonna mess up the whole sound.
So that's why I put my band together, because I featured everybody in my band, and when I got interviews, I talked about everybody in my band, and a lot of those singers just talk about themselves, and they never talk about.
They never talk about the band. Yeah.
You know, so I don't think that's right. So that's always in all my news. I got tons of write-ups in newspapers, and you could hear that where I talk about my band. Everybody in my band is a star, and I featured everybody. You know.
And I'm thinking about what you're saying. Everybody in your band is a star, and I think that's awesome to do that, to highlight all of your members, because when you're, especially too, when you're playing, you never know, like, say, regular person like me, a lot of times when I go out and I'll sit and watch the blues bands play, a lot of times you've gotten people to sit in to play with you. They have a whole career behind them. But the audience, some of the people don't know. We don't know that you may have Bob Stroger in your band. We don't know some of these other folks that huge careers. So that's pretty important, I think, too, to help us know who's there, who's up there. Because I've done that. I didn't know certain people had all this career and they like, oh, you didn't know that was so and so. I'm like, no, nobody. Let us know. So that's pretty cool. Now you mentioned that you write songs.
Yeah, I wrote a song. I'm not really, well, Maurice Bond has influenced me because when I had my band, Merle Perkins and the Perkolator, I had Pistol Pete playing, and he was an outstanding guitar player. Actually, I'm the one that took him around, took him where he got people noticed. And they kept asking me, man, where you get that guitar player from? But usually people think when a guitar player is out front, that it's their band. But see, so I changed that because my band was Merle Perkins Perkins. So what I did, I made a logo, $300, and I put it behind stage with a drum set and it had Merle Perkins Perkins to let people know this is my band, not the guitar player's band.
Okay. Yeah.
So I was the band leader. I did all the booking.
Okay.
And I didn't have everything that I did in my music life.
You did it. You managed yourself.
I promoted, booked an agent. I booked my own band. I promoted my own band, and I did everything to get to where I am now. And then I honored all the legends that I played with, the ones that have passed away and the ones that live in. I did a whole article on there, and I wouldn't be a legend myself if I didn't play with those people that were legends.
Yeah.
So I have a write-up of all the musicians that I played with and recorded with, and even small musicians. I honored small musicians too. So a lot of people today in the 70s when I was playing, these young guys don't know about some of those musicians that I played with.
Yeah.
That have passed
and
on.
And that's the reason why we have to do things like this and have people on who you are a legend, who played with the legends, and we have to keep that going.
Yeah.
And so we have to help people stay aware of the people who came before and the folks who really laid the foundation for this music. Right. So what could possibly be some of your favorite places that you've toured, because you traveled everywhere? Share with us about where you've been.
22 different countries, and some of those places all the big countries like Paris, France, Tokyo, Japan, Osaka, Japan, Brazil. I played in small towns in those countries. When I played with Eddie Clearwater, I played so many different countries, and then I played small towns. I can't even pronounce the names.
Okay, yeah.
Because you don't speak that language.
Right.
Another language.
So.
And when I did the interview with Drum Talk TV, he said, "Man, you've been to so many countries, and people could name maybe 5 countries that they've been." He said, "You've been to 22 different countries."
How many?
22.
22, yeah.
And I performed in 47 states and small towns, and I can name some of those. I can still remember. I never forget. And the only places I never performed is Alaska, Arizona, and Hawaii.
Oh, wow.
That's the only every state I've been performing in small towns.
Do you have any favorites here in the States that you did?
The most favorite place I like to play is I love Canada. Because one of the reasons why I like Canada, I've been from one end of Canada all the way to the next. I've been in all of their countries.
Okay, all of their provinces. Yeah,
I've been there. And the reason why I like that, Toronto, Canada, and them is because Canadians don't consider everybody lives together as like a melting pot. It doesn't matter what race you are. You all live together. We're all people. But the thing about the United States, it's been always like that. You got Puerto Ricans over here, you got Mexicans over here, Polish over here. It shouldn't be like that. We're all human beings.
So it's so segregated here as opposed to what you found in Canada.
Right, and that's the reason why I like Canada, because and then even in other countries that you go to, it doesn't matter what race you are. You can stay anywhere you want to stay.
So it's just, well, I won't say just, but it's more blatant and more profound here. It's that separatism, that segregation, that prejudice. You said you've found it more here than any place else you've traveled.
Right.
Wow.
Any
other country, I should say.
It was said on CNN, John Lemon, where they fired him, but he said when he came here, they stopped him, and he said it on CNN that Chicago was a prejudiced town, but it was hidden. Just like the neighborhood I stay in, Lincoln Park, at least the senior building I stay in is all mixed up. But it's no African Americans that have homes
in that area. Well, one thing about Lincoln Park area is super, super expensive.
Yeah.
And so
you gotta have some paper.
I'm trying to.
Man, they call that the rich. Lincoln Park, the rich area, and I said, well, they can leave the rich out for me.
It's known as the Gold Coast.
Yeah.
So you got some gold, you can go ahead and pull up.
Yeah.
Man.
So that's why I try to look my bills like, hey man, that's why that guy came up when I got in the car. He said, man, you got the drumsticks in hand. He said, you the cat.
Right. So at this point in your career, because you still play, you still got gigs. You performed yesterday.
Yeah.
So what's most important to you in your life and career right now?
Well, at my age of 78 and 79, and I'm still doing it. And then the thing about the Blues Fest, a girl came all the way from Brazil because I had been in Brazil, and she wanted to meet me. And I called these guys. I did a CD called Session 1 with Ivan Marco, which is a great harmonica player. And I got my friend, when he saw me with Eddie Clearwater doing a festival, he said he liked the way I shuffle. And he said, man, if I come to Chicago, can you put a band together for me? I said, yeah. So I put my friend Michael Morris, which has played with Willie Dixon, and I got Michael Coleman, which I recorded with him, and on Delmar Records, and we recorded a CD at Delmar Records. But they took it back to Brazil and presented it, have a record label there called Chico Labels. So they mixed it there. And then Marco told them about another band was called Brazilian Blues Bash. So they came here, and I did a CD with them called Brazilian Blues Bash, and it's got my Cadillac on the front and with us on the pictures on front of that. And so I call them my Brazilian Blues Brothers,
Yeah, so at this point in your career is just important. I think, as you talking about, people admire you, you still get out there and we can see you play. We can, music is what I was saying on the other interview last weekend. Most musicians, I would say everyone, it's if you're a true musician, you just don't retire. You just play because that's who you are.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think as being a musician, you need to listen to a lot of different types of music. I really like Puerto Rican music, and I listen to Middle Eastern music because of the rhythms that they play.
Okay.
So I even like some heavy metal music, So I like a different types of music.
Okay. I'm sitting up here looking, gonna pull up some of your music.
Now some of those I just posted.
Yeah. Excuse me, everybody. I'm gonna pull up one of his drum solos if I can find it.
The one in Brazil. One in Brazil.
Maybe.
Yeah,
when you were playing the double bass, where the
that's the double pedals.
I mean double pedals, where the well, thanks for correcting me.
Yeah.
where
see,
one of them broke, something broke.
That took out the lesser room playing 2 bass drums, so then they came out with the double pedals.
I don't know if this.
Now that blue record right there, that's Shirley Johnson. See, because this a guitar player that was with my friend, that's his son. We did 3 songs in February, 3 songs, and he said, "Can you get me a blues singer?" And so I got him Shirley Johnson on that song there, Come On Down.
Okay.
So she's singing on that song. So we did like 3. And one of the songs that we did called Stop and Go is kind of like a heavy metal. And they played that on a radio station in the UK, and it wasn't even on a CD. And I told him about it. His name is Dylan Faldoodle. But I said, man, you should have jumped on that right away because they played it in there. But then he don't even have nothing to do with those songs.
Okay, so you need your headphones in order to hear. If I'm gonna.
They're talking about the drum solo.
Yeah.
Your headphones.
Oh
yeah. Well, the one that's got is that I did in Brazil. You got your hat on.
Yeah. Move this back a little bit.
The one that I did in Brazil is that's the one that's kind of.
Okay, so
I didn't even know they was recording that because everywhere we toured. Now that drum solo was did in 1990.
This is smoking.
I didn't even know the sound man was recording that. And when it came off on stage, and he let me listen to it, and I said, man, who was that playing? He said, that's you.
You said, who was that playing?
Yeah, I didn't know, cause I didn't know he recorded that drum solo on the sound system.
Man.
And so, because see, that style that I'm playing is my idol drummer, Billy Cobham. See, Billy Cobham does really fast solos, and then he plays real soft.
Yeah.
And then he builds it up.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, that's why I call him talking drums.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite drummers in the jazz with Jack McDuff was a drummer called Joe Dukes. And they had a song called Soulful Drums. And Jack McDuff would play a regular groove on the B3 organ. And then Joe Dukes would play, like, make the drums talk. He was that, he used to make the drums talk in between the song. And I got a chance to, he was my friend, I got a chance to take him and go to some of his gigs. And because he was a phenomenal jazz drummer, playing with Jack McDuff, So I had a chance of playing, going to his gigs, and I told him about Billy Cobham, and he said, yeah, man, I never heard of Billy. He said, he's a phenomenal drummer. So.
And so are you.
Yeah. And then, so Billy Cobham played in drum corps too.
Okay.
But he's from Panama and he looks black. But see, he plays the Latin,
I get what you mean.
Rock, jazz, fusion. I mean, he's fast like a machine. Yes, he's like a machine. And then,
wow. So drum corps. That's the...
Steve Gadd is another drummer that played in drum corps, which he does all the stage play with Chick Corea and stuff, and he does all the sessions. He gets so many sessions. I don't know if you heard a song by Paul Simon, 50 Ways to Leave Your Life.
Yes.
That's him playing drums, and that's a half of a Radamaku. That's a rudiment that he's playing that he made up with that song. Steve Gadd is a phenomenal drummer.
Wow.
He played in drum corps.
See, that's the, if you
Drum
want your
corps.
Training, your foundation.
Yeah, so that's my foundation of drumming is drum corps. And that's in your blood. You have to know the feeling to be in an organization like that. It's a feeling that you feel that you don't feel like you never felt before. Right. You have to be in it to feel that.
Move this away from your face a little bit. Yeah, this way. Yeah. I get what you're saying. And I watched that with my brother. He was actually a music prodigy, but on the drums, he could go. And I think you can hear the difference in the people where it's just they're going to be great. You can hear it. Yeah, when they're playing, and just it comes out of whatever that is that you're talking about that's in them. It comes out in their playing.
Yeah, because when I was in Brazil, when I was in drum corps, I played tenor drum and I would play with mallets. So when I did my first drum solo in Brazil, I started off with mallets and not no snare on it, just playing the drums around with the mallets, which I was trying to do something different. And then later on in the solo, I put the mallets down and you can hear me hitting the drums and then putting the snares back on. Then I started playing the snare drums. And those people went crazy because every place I performed in Brazil, I got a drum solo.
Man.
So that solo that I did, the first gig I did in Brazil, they had a camera crew there. I didn't know they were recording that drum solo.
Of course we go to...
I didn't know it. And then
Everybody.
my friend named Jivo, he said, man, I got a surprise for you. And he sent me that solo. I said, man, I didn't know they recorded that solo,
Yeah. Well, if there were, I like to ask this question. How do you think the internet impacted the music business? Because you got your own Facebook, you got YouTube, you got Instagram.
Yeah. And then Drum Talk TV, and then also Pam, which is here, you got to meet her. Pam, when she was a teenager, she always liked Dick Biondi, was a great big huge disc jockey, and she did a documentary on him, and I played at the Arcade Theater. The guy that owns that is a very rich person.
Okay.
So they had all these famous groups like the Eyes of March that did Vehicle, the Little Rascals. I was on a show with all these big groups, and then they had me to perform. And I was on a big screen, and I sing Sweet Home Chicago, and I sing I gamble, I gamble. Oh, I sing Kansas City because that's where I was born.
Mm-hmm.
So, but then my friend told me, and it was in a theater, and I got a great big hand. I think I sold about $300 worth of my CDs, and people wanted to take pictures with me.
Yeah.
And her daughter said, "Man, that we liked you better than all the other bands." You know, and they were popular bands.
Yeah.
You know.
So, well, if you could change one thing about the industry, you know, looking back and thinking over your career, what would that be?
Well, you know, one thing that I would like to do that I never did is a Wikipedia. And a lot of people say, man, you need a Wikipedia. You're the guy that did the photos for me with the Living Blues magazine, and also he did all those CDs I showed you.
So he
thought I was going to be doing a record. That's why he put that up, and that I was going to produce it. I said, no, man, we miscalculate. So he said, you might as well do something with it. So I just posted it on Facebook.
Okay, but that's what you still need. You still need a Wikipedia done on you.
Wikipedia.
Okay.
I would just like to do a workshop and a clinic about the blues.
Oh, nice.
I like to do that. See, because Billy Cobham, they do clinics.
Okay.
And they use a band. So I had one friend of mine in the blues section. I don't know if you know, he played with B.B. King's name is Tony Coleman. Now, Tony Coleman I went to see him a clinic at a big music store here.
Okay.
And he got that because he played with B.B. King, and he does shows with other bands and stuff like that. So everybody that I played at the Blues Fest with have died. Nobody's living.
That's something.
So, but people say, man, they should have had you at the Blues Fest as a special guest artist to play, a couple of songs with some of these bands. But that's the thing about Chicago. I think Chicago don't really recognize me at all. Most of the people that do stuff for me are in the suburbs or in other countries. But only thing I ever got at Chicago is inducted in the Blues Hall of Fame, and that was Michael Packer from New York City. And then he passed away. So he didn't know nothing about me. So it was one lady here that I was sending her a message on there because she was great friends with Eddie Clearwater, and I told her it was wrong. She talked about everybody in Chicago but me.
But you.
No saying nothing about me.
Wow. And we have you, living legend, living right here in Chicago.
Right. So I was sending her a message because I think she did a little work with that. And then he came on the internet and said, this is not her site. He said, this is Michael Packer. He's out of New York. And he said, I didn't know nothing about you, man, because I had a picture with Honey Boy Airways, and he had a picture. He had a band with Honey Boy Airways. And I said, man, I played with Honey Boy Airways. So I started sending him stuff that I was on. He didn't know nothing about me. So then he said, man, I'm going to induct you into the Hall of Fame. But he said, we already picked all the people for that year. And then when he started looking at everything I'd done, and then he contacted me, he said, man, can you come down here for the Blues Fest? I said, you mean now? He said, no, I mean this year. I want you to come down here, even though my name wasn't on there.
All right.
So that's the first award I got was a Master Blues Artist.
Yeah, and you got some recognition.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the second one I got after he passed away was a guy named Garland Floyd that was running that. And Garland Floyd tricked me. I used to go down there and support the blues, and he said my car had broke down, and I went down there, and I paid $20 to go down there. And so Mike Wheeler was on stage playing, and then my friend Willie Hayes, his wife died, and then he died. Willie Hayes was a famous drummer.
Okay.
So, and they told me, they said, don't go far, man. Somebody want to talk to you about something. And so I'm walking down the aisle, and somebody said, "He called Merle Perkins on stage." So I went up the stage, and they had that second Blues Award, the legendary blues drummer. And the guy on the floor said, "I got you."
Yeah.
He
nice.
tricked me, and he gave me my $20 back.
Aww.
And then I heard that he died. He passed away.
But I'm glad they recognize you in the way that you deserve. Yes, absolutely, in the way that you have earned. So now we're coming pretty close to the end of the show, and I want to take a moment to thank you. Thank you. It is truly an honor to have a legend right here sitting next to me, and a drummer at that. I'm super, super excited and grateful to have you here and to know you. We've gotten to be friends. Merle Perkins is very kind man and very handsome man. You guys look at this guy. He's 78 years old. He's still a looker, so.
And then being friends with your brother, and I didn't even know he had a sister. Your brother.
Gary Martin.
The picture, I said, she got Gary Martin. I said, that's my friend Barry Martin, and I had no idea that y'all were sisters and brothers. You know, well, that's amazing how things
small world,
together.
Yeah,
you know.
So how was it now? You know Gary, they love you. Gary and his wife Ann Fitzgerald, they love you. And so have you worked with Gary before, or?
I sat in with his band.
Oh, in Canada.
Yeah, and I got a drum solo there, and that's what I tell you. I had a picture of him. They were turning around and looking at me doing my drum solo. I got that picture. I must have overlooked it.
Okay.
But I've been trying to find that picture with Gary Martin. Okay. He was turning around, they were looking at me.
All right. So you shout out to Gary, give Gary a holler.
Yeah, that's my boy, man. I love him. And then I have another friend of mine that played with him. He's Chinese, and his name is Brian G.
Okay.
And I turned him on the drum corps, and I'm one of his mentors.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
he's one of them. I'm one of his mentors.
Okay. So I want to ask, what's the best advice you've been given, but also to give advice to up-and-coming folks, musicians, drummers especially.
Yeah.
What advice would you give them?
Well, the best advice I give you is if you want to be whatever instrument you want to play, do that. Don't let nobody change you. Just keep doing what you're doing. Mm-hmm. And the most important thing, when you're a musician, is being on time, not being late, and have a good attitude. And don't be arrogant and think you're better than anybody else.
Yeah, stay humble.
You know, be humble. You
All
got to be a
now.
humble person. And I've always been like that. I never, even when I had two big motorhomes, I was still the same person.
Okay.
You know,
it'll take you a long way.
I never changed. And everything that I have, I'm still the same person.
I get you.
Yeah.
I get what you mean. Okay.
Yeah.
So, what's next for you? Any upcoming shows?
Well, just like I said, mostly I haven't played the Blues Fest. The last Blues Fest I played was 2014 with my friend, the late Michael Coleman. Mm-hmm. So, but I go to the Blues Fest. Mm-hmm. I'm supporting and Heather Chackett plays with Super Chicken and the Fighting Cock. And then the girl from Brazil that came all the way here to meet me, we all got together and we went to the Blues Fest. So I was behind, on the other side from where the people watching, it was photographers coming up say, come here. I don't know. I guess he knew I was a Chinese guy. And he was behind. And he said, "I want to take pictures of you."
Yeah.
So I got pictures of that where those other photographers was taking, and then there was another one that was taking photography of me, but I didn't get them because I don't know who he was.
Yeah. Well, we know who you are. You got you got a ton of fans out here.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody. We're gonna begin to close the show. Excuse me. We're gonna begin to close the show now. And I want to thank you for taking the time tuning in to the Shypanther and Friends show. And please come back and make sure that you follow us on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button and follow us on Instagram at Shypanther and Friends show. And you can follow me on Facebook at Gale Hall. And I just want to say I truly appreciate your time. And Mr. Merle The Percolator Perkins, you have graced the Shypanther and Friends show, and we are so fortunate for it. And thank you again for appearing here. And you can follow Merle Perkins on his
I'm on everywhere. Actually, one of the videos that I posted on Facebook, it has my CD on there, and it has all the places that you can get in touch with me. I'm on Reaper Nation. I'm on SoundCloud. I'm on Bandmix. And if you want to find me, you go to Google and put in Merle Perkins Blues. And
everything comes up.
Everything comes up.
That's right. He has plenty of information on social media. So you can find a lot of information on him, how to follow him on all of his platforms.
Yeah.
And
on that one CD there, I got on a red coat, and it's called Merle Perkins Perkolator.
Okay.
That's the one that has all that.
Yeah, I saw that. That's a sharp dressing. He looks good over there, y'all. And whenever possible, everybody, please go out and support live music. Go out and support the performances because they need it. We got to do that to keep them working. Yeah. Go out and support the bands. And okay, everybody, thank you and God bless, and hope to see you soon. Good night.